Today on Dr. Phil. She's spoiled.
Instead of playing with marbles, Chelsea would play with diamonds and rubies.
But
Chelsea refuses to grow up.
She doesn't have a job. My daughter's gonna be 30 and she's got nothing to show for it.
she's a moocher.
Did you steal from your grandmother?
Yeah,
Did you get your brother's credit card and run up $11,000?
I did.
And she's blaming her family.
No matter how bad I screw up, I know mom, dad, grandma, whoever's going to be there to fix it for me.
I've had it. It's worse than I ever expected.
They won't let me do the things I want to do in life.
You keep criticizing them because they're rich.
I would have been able to be successful if they would have just let me do the things that I wanted to do.
So you steal $50,000 in a BMW? This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
It matters to you. That's what I want to talk about. Are we ready in the booth?
Take.
Let's do it. Go, Dr. Phil. How are you? All right. I have a question for you. Everybody have a seat. Everybody have a seat. Here's the question. Is it asking too much for your 20-somethings to be able to make their own money and to be independent nowadays? I got a lot of 20-somethings here, so why are so many 20-somethings taking so long to grow up, if they ever do? Now, one theory is something called emerging adulthood. You read about this New York Times article that said this is a time between 18 and 30 which is to be used for identity exploration, instability, self-focus, or just kind of feeling lost, in between. Now, you can take a poll right now on drphil.com and let me know if you think emerging adulthood either makes sense or it's just another excuse. Barbara says she's given her 24-year-old daughter nothing but the best, and all she has to show for it is a daughter who won't speak to her.
Chelsea's had it pretty good.
My parents gave me everything that I ever wanted.
Chelsea's birthdays were an event. When she was in kindergarten, we went roller skating. We had a costume party. We hired Belgian workhorses and a covered wagon. Chelsea's dad is an orthopedic surgeon.
They spent $14,000 to buy me a show horse and travel all over the place.
Chelsea's grandfather was an airline captain.
I have gone to Peru, Costa Rica, Dominican Republic.
She's been to Hawaii twice. Chelsea's grandmother had a jewelry store for 25 years. And instead of playing with marbles, Chelsea would go in and play with the diamonds and the rubies.
I've been raised in a very materialistic lifestyle. My mom and dad gave me a car for my birthday, I think it was, or that's really bad, but I forget why exactly they gave me a car.
In the past 2 years, Chelsea's cost me $27,000. I was the fool that just gave her the money, and now I'm paying for it.
I called my mom a rich bitch one time.
Chelsea called me a rich bitch. She didn't want to be like me and my rich bitch friends. I said, really? But, Mom, can I have 20 bucks for gas? I fear that Chelsea will not become a responsible, respectable member of society.
She sent me to finishing school.
She goes, don't you call me, don't you call here, I don't want to talk to you. And she hung up. I said, fine. I haven't talked to her in 7 months.
Well, Chelsea moved out of her mom's house, and they have not seen each other, as she says, in 7 months. So I want to ask Chelsea to join us now. Come right in.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. Nice to meet you.
Dr. Phil, her you know.
Her I know, Mom.
So why have you had no contact in 7 months?
The last time I talked to her, she told me she didn't want to hear from me anymore. She said that she was an adult, she was going to live her own life, and she just didn't want me. I said, great, I have been pushed away so many times. I finally got the picture.
Mm-hmm. So how do you feel about it?
I pushed her out of my life at that time because I needed space, and I told her that I didn't want her calling me. I didn't want her coming over. I didn't want her knowing where I was because I didn't want her to come over and cause a scene. And I just didn't want her, but I missed her. I need her back in my life.
You do? You want her
Yeah.
back in your life? How do you feel about that?
Right now, I think she just needs me because of my checkbook. I don't know what she needs from me other than money.
Are you running out of money?
Nope. I don't need money. I don't need anything other than the fact to know that my mom's there and she still loves me, because she hasn't, I mean, I feel that regardless of the things that happen, a mother should still unconditionally love you. And in the past 7 months, I haven't even got a call just to say anything at all. And that's hard.
Have you mistreated your mother?
Yeah, horribly.
Have you mistreated your grandmother, who's right down here? Margaret, hi, how
Yeah.
are you? Have you mistreated her?
Yeah, I've mistreated everybody in my family.
Why?
I don't, for specific incidents, I can't say exactly why I did the things that I've done. However, it's the choices that I've made, and I've been raised to a certain standard, I feel, all my life, that no matter what I try and do, will ever be good enough for my family.
Well, you knew right or wrong, true?
Yeah, true.
Because you have exploited her in a major way financially, right?
Yes.
You spent $11,000 on her credit cards. Have you held yourself to any kind of standard?
No, not until recently.
Well, one of Barbara's biggest complaints is that Chelsea hasn't completed her GED. Take a look at this.
My daughter's going to be 30 one day, and she's got nothing to show for it. She doesn't have a GED. She doesn't have a job. She doesn't have friends that are what I consider worthy or that are going anywhere. She has nothing to show me that she has accomplished anything in life. She's lying, cheating, stealing. I can't trust her.
I lie because the repercussions and the consequences that I would have gotten from my mom immediately after, telling her the truth were worse than just lying about it and having to deal with it later on.
I'm afraid she's coming back to me, and I can't afford her.
Well, we're going to hear what Chelsea's grandmother has to say about all this when we come back, because she's been involved as well.
Stay tuned for a special sneak peek behind-the-scenes look at tomorrow's Dr. Phil.
Oh, hey, whoa! Well, we're talking to 24-year-old Chelsea and her mother, Barbara. Now, Chelsea's grandmother, Margaret, invited Chelsea to live with her and her grandfather. Now, Grandma feels used. Here's why.
We wanted her to have the very best. Chelsea lived with us for 4 months, and I discovered she'd stolen my credit cards, lied to me, and she stole my car. So Chelsea was not being a good girl.
I told them, don't do it. You're going to be so sorry. She's trouble, and she will hurt you, and she did.
I told Barbara I could solve the problems. I've always watched the Dr. Phil show. I thought I knew everything. She had written almost $1,000 worth of checks. Underneath this bed is where we found all of my mail, and I was so upset because I kept accusing the bank of not sending out our statements. She stole my MasterCard. The total was $7,000. The Visa card was around $6,000. We have probably given her $30,000. Besides, she took money out of my purse. The house is so big that we cannot hear anything. She'd sneak out. She abused my car every night. She stole my car, really. And she said, well, I feel like I'm locked in and I want to go hang out with my friends. Well, yeah, they were hanging out at my expense. The restaurant, $110 for Hooters, $89 for Hooters. She set the bed up so that we would think that she was still in bed. And then this place was just covered with clothes. We opened the closet, and here were big sacks of trash. It was a disaster. I am so angry. I am so livid to think that Chelsea would do her grandmother a great injustice.
Okay, so what do you say about all that?
There's a lot of stuff that wasn't really said there.
Say it now.
I came back from California, and I'd been living not financially on my own, but by myself since I was 18 years old. And they took my cars away from me. They took my privileges to go see anybody away from me. Everything that I had been used to for the past, since I was 18 was now taken away from me. I wasn't allowed to go do anything.
But did you steal from your grandmother?
Yeah.
Did you get your mother's credit card and run up $11,000?
I did.
Did you forge checks on your grandmother? That's a felony.
And I told her she could turn me into jail. She threatens me about everything that she can do, and I said, fine. If it's that big of a deal to you, and if you're really that angry about it, turn me in, call the cops, and let me go to jail for it. But instead, they didn't do that.
So you ran up $11,000 on your mother's credit card, $7,000 on one of your grandmother's credit cards, $5,000 on another one of her credit cards that you stole. You stole her Vicodin, according to her. You stole her BMW so you could go out at night. You've run up $27,000 on your mother and $36,000, $32,800 on your grandmother. You were getting your nails done, going to restaurants.
Yeah, I was doing anything I could do.
You rewound the mileage gauge on a car. But is this okay with you?
No, I never said it was okay at all. But clearly the way that everything was being gone about wasn't good either. I mean, taking everything away from me and not letting me do anything at all. They wouldn't let me succeed, and they wouldn't let me fail either. They won't let me do the things I want to do in life because it's never good enough for them.
You said they took things away from you. They weren't your thing. See, that's the problem we've got here.
They gave me the car. They gave me my car. They took things away from me that were mine.
Who bought the car?
My mother and my father, and it got taken away, just my mother. There was no questions asked my father about it at all.
And so you feel violated because they took things away that truly were yours.
Yeah.
But you don't feel that you violated these people when you took away things that were clearly theirs.
I said that I did.
You're offended. They took away things that were mine. You stole 50 grand from these people.
I realize that. I do.
And you have the audacity to talk about them taking away something of yours?
None of this would have ever happened if I would have still been able to do the things I wanted to do.
As long as they let you do what you want to do, you won't steal from them.
I'm not saying do just whatever I want to do. Had a job working at a farm. Wasn't good enough for him. Anything that I ever do is not good enough for them. I would have been able to be successful if they would have just let me do the things that I wanted to do and be proud of me for the fact that I even have a job, like that I'm even doing anything. But they've grown up in their little ritzy, like only worried about money and only worried about their name, and that's not me. I hate that. That's not the person I want to be at all.
You don't want to be all ritzy-ditzy.
I don't want to have a bunch of money and only worry about the money and only worry about my name and
then why would you steal $50,000? You don't value money, so you steal $50,000 in a BMW? Grandma, what do you say about all this?
You stole the car at night to go out and be with your friends, to go to Hooters and every place else.
I asked you if I could go, and you guys would not let me go.
No, that is absolutely not true.
Tomorrow on Dr. Phil.
I always dream that I'm flying.
Flying dreams can mean that you're trying to escape a situation.
What are the 5 most common dreams?
My husband is dreaming that I'm cheating.
Are you kind of insecure?
Well, maybe a little bit.
What do your dreams reveal?
When we land, I'm the only one that's still alive.
Have you lost people close to you in your life?
Find out Dr. Phil's biggest nightmare. That's tomorrow.
I worked for a thoroughbred breeder when I got out of high school. My mom absolutely hated it. Like, I was probably the happiest that I'd been in a really long time. I was doing what I loved every single day. But because I was just working at a horse farm, it wasn't good enough for her. She didn't like that at all.
You don't value money, so you steal $50,000 in a BMW? Grandma, what do you say about all this?
You know, you had every golden opportunity. You took the car to the gym. We allowed you to have the car to go. Your mom paid for a gym so that you could get out of the house. We left you go to your dad's office. We left you go uptown to get our mail, which you later stole our mail and our statements from the credit card company and things from the accountant and IRS we found underneath your bed and in the drawers after you moved out. Now, you know that's true.
Yes, I do know that's true. And I do know that I screwed up. Like, I realize that.
And we didn't lock you up. You stole the car at night to go out and be with your friends, to go to Hooters and every place else. You know, all the restaurants, the sushi bar. I have a list of everything. Ski resort. 120, 126 times. She never went skiing. Where was
I asked you if I could go, and you guys would not let me go.
No, that is absolutely not true. We wanted you to exercise. We wanted to, no, Chelsea,
it's not true.
Yes, it is, Dr. Phil. I would like her to go get exercise. We paid for a gym. That is not true.
The thing I'm trying to resolve here, because I want you to get what you really want. I mean, I really do. You probably don't see me much as a friend to you right now, but I just want to get the truth out here, and you can't change what you don't acknowledge.
I've acknowledged that I screwed up. I've acknowledged that.
You keep criticizing them because they're like rich and they have this ritzy life and all of that, but yet you're stealing BMWs and going to ski resorts and all of this stuff. It sounds to me like you kind of like the lifestyle. I
just like being able to be out with my friends.
Because you're not stealing a BMW and going down to the soup kitchen to feed the homeless.
I screwed all that stuff up. Like, I realize that perfectly fine. I knew you were just going to bring me on here.
You blame your mother for, quote, giving me everything I ever wanted, quote, telling me I was fat since I was 15, quote, saying my ex would leave me for a skinny girl, quote, telling me I would never amount to anything, and, quote, withholding unconditional love. Those are your complaints against your mother. What do you say about that?
I have got on her about her weight because she's not healthy. I don't think that she's healthy with being overweight. I don't know what I did wrong. If I just did it all at once or if it was a combination of everything going on. I just wanted her to get her GED and get a job so she can pay her car insurance. Then she can have the car. But right now, she's got...
So if that's the deal and I got the job and you said no, it has to be a job as a CNA because working at a coffee stand, making good money and tips and more than I would have made working at the CNA jobs that I could have applied for was not good enough for you.
It wasn't cost effective. She was driving farther than what she was making money for. There's no benefits to what you were doing. There's benefits in the health care.
I was making $500 every two weeks and tips on top of that, but it wasn't good enough because...
Then why didn't you start paying your grandma back?
Because
why didn't you offer?
I wasn't asking for any money. I was paying for my gas.
You just stole $37,000.
And I was paying for my rent. You ask why? Because I didn't have any extra money. If I had extra money to pay either of you off right now, I would be doing that.
Have you ever apologized to them?
I apologized as much as I can. I don't know how many more times I can say that I'm sorry for the things that I did, and they take it with a grain of salt because I have screwed up so many times in the past. And I completely understand that. And so...
But I hear you explaining it away here. I hear you saying, and not that you don't have some issues that I think you have legitimate complaints about. I agree. But, you know, here's the thing. When you do something so outrageously wrong, so criminal, it just kind of crowds everything off the radar screen, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you realize you could go to jail for 20 years for what you've done. These are serious crimes, and you're like, well, they wouldn't let me do what I wanted to do. Tell it to a judge and see how that sounds. Excuse me, miss, you stole $50,000 through credit card fraud and a BMW. Well, they wouldn't let me do what I wanted to do. Do you think the judge would say, well, I wish you'd have said that before we brought the jury in here and all of that stuff, because we would have saved a lot of the state's money here. Do you realize how non-credible that is?
Yeah.
I mean, you must just drive away from these people just laughing your ass off, thinking they just keep bringing me back. They just keep loading me up. And then you say you criticize her that she's given you everything you've ever wanted. Parents, hear that. And that's what you criticize her for.
Yeah, because now that I look back on my life, I see that no matter how bad I screw up, I know mom, dad, grandma, whoever's going to be there to fix it for me and that it will all be okay. That's why, like, I don't want that anymore. Like, I'm sick of it. Let me go and let me either succeed or let me fail. Like, I have to do this on my own, though.
I had that mother gut feeling something's not right. And I knew that you would be experimenting. That's what kids do. I didn't know it was that bad.
She didn't know for a fact.
Oh my, how we've lowered the bar.
When Chelsea and I get in an argument, she will start to yell at me, to intimidate me. When I accuse her of lying especially, I cannot be as perfect as you. Why are you like this to me? Then I will say, oh, honey. And she'll look at me, don't call me honey. Then we go from there like two 12-year-olds. And then it gets worse because I hang up on her, and now I'm an 8-year-old.
Chelsea has been keeping a secret from her mother that she wants her to learn about today. Take a look.
I'm living down in California, and I got really depressed at night being there by myself. September rolled around, and I came up to Washington to my one friend, the one that had gotten me into drugs. I partied with her for like a week. We just did whatever we could do. I think we did coke, and meth was her thing, so we did that. And I spent probably $1,000 to $1,500 on coke, meth, crack, alcohol, weed, all of that. One night, I went out to the bar and got trashed, absolutely trashed to like almost blackout point, and I didn't have anywhere to go, so I was staying in my car in Walmart parking lots every night. I'd woken up that morning to a cop knocking on my window asking me what I was doing with my car running, sleeping in the parking lot at like 9 o'clock in the morning. So I decided to call my grandma and my mom. I had been doing drugs all that weekend, and I couldn't tell my family. I just told them I needed to come back up, and my mom decided that she would get all my stuff and move me back up to my grandma's. The reality was just gone anytime I was on drugs, and that felt so good because I didn't feel like I had such a screwed up life.
What do you want to say?
I found the pipe in your car. I didn't know it was that bad. I didn't know it was that bad. But I had that mother gut feeling something's not right. I found the pipe, okay? Okay. And I knew that you would be experimenting. That's what kids do. But what you put on that credit card, really, that's what they did. But I just thought she'd do it when she was younger so that we could...
Really?
Yeah.
No, that's what some kids do. That's not what all kids do.
Some kids, my kid did it. My kid was drinking, and here we are.
But she didn't know for a fact any of it.
Oh, my, how we've lowered the bar.
I didn't know it was that bad, Chels. I didn't know it was that bad.
Do you understand that lying has become your second nature, right? Weren't you talking to her on the cell phone at one point, and she told you she was in California?
Oh, yeah.
And you were behind her on the street in Washington?
She tells me.
I was behind her.
I'm on the highway. I'm on the highway. And she's on the cell phone. And she tells me, I have to pull into the parking lot now because I have to go back to work. It's 1 o'clock.
You thought she was in California doing what?
Working in a dental office.
And she, in fact, was...
She was in my state. We don't live in California. She's in my state. I'm following her. She just told me that she's going to do her job in California, and she had to get off the phone. And I said, you know, I didn't freak out. I didn't yell at her. I said, go tell your grandparents, didn't I?
There's one thing that we just need to be honest about. You are not a good thief. You steal things and leave a trail.
You left receipts in your purse and in the room at their house.
You're not even good at being bad. So you just might as well decide to be good. I mean, you got to change this. We got to turn this around.
It has been changed in the past 7 months that my mom hasn't been talking to me.
Well, maybe that...
Then that's good.
That's a good start. All right, we got to take a break. Next, the biggest thing Chelsea says her mom is most critical about. We'll be right back.
When I'm talking with other parents and they're telling me about their child's wedding, grandkids, career moves, what they're doing in college, awards they've won, and how proud they are of their child, and all I can do is sit there and say, that's really nice. And I'm dying inside because I don't have anything good to say.
Chelsea says her mom was very critical of her growing up.
I had a lot of good times up until about 5th grade. I wasn't doing good in school, and that's when my parents started fighting. I felt a lot of pressure from both of my parents growing up. My grandma owns this huge jewelry store. My dad is a doctor, and I pretty much felt my entire life like I had to grow up to be something amazing. I was never Chelsea.
But she has let herself go. She doesn't seem to have any personal satisfaction. So she just eats and she smokes too much, drinks too much, and she's gained a lot of weight.
My weight was a huge thing. I've been told ever since the day I was like 13 that I was fat. My mom would say that I was fat. She'd tell me that on a regular basis, almost every day. Because I was so self-conscious, I'd wear sweatshirts all the time just to cover whatever fat was there. If I didn't look good, then it reflected back on her, and nitpicky little things like that absolutely drove me crazy. It was like a slap in the face.
Okay, what do you say about
It's true. I am sorry about that, Chelsea, but it's true I did that. I'm worried about her weight. I'm worried that she's not taking care of her health. She can't get, I don't think she can get a job with the size that she's at because employers may look at her as not being healthy, getting a back problem, getting knee problems.
Well, you said something that really kind of struck me. You said a lot of times you're with your friends and they're all bragging about their kids' accomplishments, and you just sit there and stare at the table because you got nothing to say.
I stare, well, yes. I don't stare at the table, I stare at them. I go, that's wonderful. Yes, and my family too. She's got cousins. There's 7 of them, and they're all born the same year. Okay, so 6 of them are all doing things, and Chelsea's not. You know, they were accomplishing something.
What's good about her?
She's got a wonderful personality. She's a wonderful personality. She can talk to anybody. She's not shy. She can go out there and just dazzle.
Why do you suppose it's gone so wrong with the criminal behavior, the dishonesty, all
I
of that?
did something somewhere, and I'm not sure what it was. I don't think it was just all of the weight issue. It could be because I wanted her to be something than what she is. I just want her, right now, all I want her to do is get her GED and get a job. And then that'll be great. And then if you wanted to be a nurse like you say you do, you need those 2 things to get further in life. And I'm not paying for it anymore.
And if I don't want to be a nurse, if I want to do something that I want to do,
it better be cost effective. You said that you wanted to work at a horse ranch. Great, but the horse ranch was an hour away. Okay, do the math on the travel stuff.
Down there, though.
Well, here, do this math. You don't tell a 13-year-old she's fat.
I know. I
okay,
realize that, yes.
you work on good life habits. You work on those things, but you don't label a child in that way. That is wrong. It doesn't justify everything you've done, but that is wrong. And look, here's the thing, Chelsea. Why did you agree to come?
Because I want my mom back in my life. Really bad.
Did she bribe you to come?
Yeah, she did.
How did she bribe you to come?
She told me that that she would give me my car back if I came down here.
And what did I do the next day, though?
And then
I took it back.
She said if I wanted to go to the show, or if I did, she'd give me my car back. Then a couple days later, I told her that it didn't matter, like, wasn't for the car. I wasn't doing this for the car.
I was curious that, have you ever really just told your grandmother, look, you took me in, you opened your home to me, you gave me a place to stay, a beautiful place, and I went behind your back and robbed you like a thief in the night, and you didn't deserve that, and I'm sorry?
I've told her sorry almost every occasion that I've gone over to her house since that happened, and she's gonna say that I didn't, because
she said, you never specifically gave me a hug or said I'm sorry. You just said, I'm sorry. And the last time you came over, what did you say? Just tell Dr. Phil what you wanted. She said, I came here because I want my gun out of the safe.
Oh, yeah.
It's my gun. It's my gun. It's in my name. And I can get the police, and I can get my gun back. And I said, please do, Chelsea. Just please do go get the police. I would welcome them in my home.
Yeah, she said she'll tell them about the credit cards. I said, go for it. But
any conversation you have with your grandmother that ends with somebody telling her to assume the position is a bad conversation. What do you mean you're going to call the cops on your grandmother?
I didn't. I said that if I said it nicely. Of course, it's going to be made to seem like I didn't. But I said that I wanted them, or I was going to have to go get the, like, that's the only other option I have. They're not going to give it to me, so if I can't,
now, Grandma, I'm going to call the cops on you.
And I said, please do. But you know, she owes me all this money. Don't you think that she could give me the $600 back or whatever the gun is worth? It's mine now. I don't care whether it's in your name or not. We can go to the police. You own it. It's mine.
And be honest with me here. Have you ever sincerely felt remorse For victimizing your grandparents?
Yeah. I felt bad for all of my entire life, for my entire life of screwing everything up. Like, I feel bad, I really do, but nobody gets that. Nobody understands that. Like, I realize how much I've screwed up. And the past, I know it hasn't been long.
I get that you feel bad for yourself, but do you feel bad for the fact that you have broken her heart?
Yeah, I feel bad for what I did to my family. Like, I feel bad for that.
But you continue to do it. You did it to me first, and then you felt bad, and then you went and did it to her. Oh, wait, but first you did it to me, and then you decided to move to California. I bailed you out of that lease. I moved you back to where we live. That wasn't chump change. That was a big piece of my life. Then you go and you do it to her, and you feel sorry about it. And then when she told her grandmother she was sorry, she goes, sorry. There was no heartfelt.
You weren't even there, Mom. You've been out of my life for years. I got it from her.
She just said the way you said it. She just said the way you said it.
Yeah, she said it however she wants to say it. That's not what happened. I told her I was sincerely sorry and that I realized I had screwed up and that I apologized for the things that I did and I meant it. Whether she wants to take it as I seriously meant it or I was just saying it just to say it, that's up to her.
I've had it. You told me you were going to make me proud of you. Well, you have not. You've gone down in the dumps. It's worse than I ever expected. You've made me very sad.
I've apologized and I have sincerely meant it. And, you know, I have screwed up and it hasn't been since I've been out of my grandma's house and actually trying and actually having to do things because I know that it's time to grow up and I'm trying to do the right thing. In the past 7 months, like, I have been doing good and I know it's hard because I've screwed everything up in the past, but I'm doing good and nobody...
Where's the test results for your GED? If you've done so well...
I don't have it because I've been working.
You can do it at night. You can do something.
I can always do something.
Let me add this in. Chelsea says she wishes her mother was as supportive as her father. Now, he wasn't able to join us today, but he did share his thoughts on what's holding Chelsea back.
Chelsea refuses to grow up. She's very smart and intelligent. The problem is I don't really trust her. She is unable to follow through with the things that she says she's going to do. During her high school completion courses, she said that she had completed her final examination, and in fact, she had not. So I kicked Chelsea out of the house. She just won't do the classwork. Chelsea's old enough that she needs to be living on her own. I'm not willing to pay for her living expenses. She needs to get a job and make her own money. I really don't think that Chelsea's going to change much until she either hits bottom or she's willing to accept help from somebody else.
You want to be left alone. You're saying you want her in your life, but as far as managing your life or making decisions, you want to do the job you want to do, the place you want to do it, and you'll either make it or break it on your own.
Yep.
And you've stolen over $50,000 for them, and you've said you get some extra money, you get ahead, you pay them back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I have the money and can pay my rent and get my gas to get to work, I have no problem paying them back the money that I took from them. None at all.
Anything you come into would go to them.
Yeah, that's fine by me.
I'm through giving you money. I've had it. Because I see that you're not getting... Papa and I gave you every opportunity to get your GED. Bought the books. You told me you were going to make me proud of you. Well, you have not. You've gone down in the dumps. It's worse than I ever expected. So you didn't make me proud. You've made me very sad.
Have you come into any money recently?
No. I've come up with just the money to pay my rent and pay my groceries, and I put money away because to make my move, and other than that, I have had no extra money, and people will vouch for the fact I have not been going out or doing anything.
I wanted to test this. So before the show, Chelsea was given $500 for helping out around here. And what did you do with the $500?
Well, thankfully it didn't show it. I stuck it in my shirt.
Yeah. So
I didn't know we were getting money. I didn't really plan on what I'm going to be doing with this money.
Yeah. Well, you said, quote, "Oh, great, it's my birthday. I can get drinks on the airplane."
Yeah, I did. It's my birthday. This is what I'm doing for my birthday.
I was just curious as to whether or not if you came into some money, if you turn around and say, hey, guys, I just got $500 I didn't think I was going to get, and I certainly owe you money, so here's $500.
Yeah, it's going to go to gas to get down here and to pay my rent this month. I
What's
have
left
$200.
over from the drinks on the plane? Surely you won't drink $500 on the plane, so you should have money for something when you get home. You know, that money that was stolen, you can kiss that goodbye. You're not ever going to see it again. It's gone. Forget it. I wouldn't, like, figure it into my retirement plan. It's So, and she still ain't ponying up to 500, as you can well see. So I think that's not going to happen. But what you're saying is you want to be left alone to do what you want to do and make it or break it on your own.
That's 6 years now, and she hasn't proven that she's...
Well, but either she is or not. You're through bailing her out, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And you don't trust her in your home.
No, I don't.
You don't trust her around your mail or your credit cards or anything of the sort. You gave her a credit card and it took you 3 months to get it back.
Yes.
That's on you, lady.
I know.
I mean, you could have stopped that day. Where's my credit card? All you got to do is pick up the phone, say, cancel that, issue me a new one. Come on.
I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. Well, that's an $11,000. Oops, should have thought about that, isn't it?
I trusted her, though. I really trusted her.
Okay, well,
but now I don't.
Love her, but have boundaries. Love her, but have boundaries. You don't have to love everything she does. And you can decide, well, it is not cost effective. As you've said like 10 times. Well, neither is her ripping you off for $27,000.
Right.
You want to be left alone to do what you want to do. Let her do it. Somebody gave her a car, let her drive it.
Okay, that's hard. I know, it's just hard to let her go. No, I will. I will do what you say, because that's why I'm here. But it's just, oh, it just tugged at my heart. I will.
That's why I said, you've been doing this for you, not for the kids. It's not good for the kids. It's good for your heart. You say, oh, it's so hard for her to be on her own. Well, you know, you're not going to be here forever.
No, I'm old, according to her.
Well, you're not going to be here forever. At some point, she's going to be alone in this world. You got to teach them, you know, it's said a long time ago, give them some fish, they'll eat tonight. Teach them to fish, they'll eat the rest of their life.
Yes.
It's time that you learn to fish. Yes. We'll be right
back. She's got 50 more good years left if she uses them wisely. I have 25. I want to be able to enjoy those years with her. She's the only family I have right now. My husband has left me. She's it. And I don't want to be alone.
Well, I want to thank all of my guests for being here today. Guys, you know, we have a job as parents, and that is to prepare our kids for the next level. And if you're not preparing them for the next level, then you're not doing your job. And sometimes they have to learn some of it painfully on their own. Sometimes you can show them the way. But if you're not doing that, you're not doing your job, however it makes you feel. So just think about it. All right, we have a great time here in the studio audience. If you're going to be in Los Angeles, we'd love to have you. The tickets are free. You can go to drphil.com. You can click on Be in the Audience, or you can check out drphil.com and see how all of you out there have voted about today's show and today's questions. Thanks for being here. So long. You have to give her space. You've got to set up some boundaries because you have trouble with boundaries. You want to control her weight. You want to control her health. It's not your job anymore. Good news. They don't have any control over you whatsoever. There's absolutely nothing to rebel against you.
So you're saying start a new slate. So when she tells me something that she's not lying, do I believe her?
If she wants to go butt a stump, she can do it. She doesn't owe you any explanation. There's no reason to lie. You lie to escape consequences. They have no consequences for you. You decide you want some counseling, you call us, let us know. We'll make the arrangements for you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Dr. Phil told me to let her go. She's 24. I agree with him. I cannot be controlling anymore. She was given money. She can do with it what she wants. It's hers. I don't expect to see this money anymore.
I mean, I didn't know we were getting any money, so if they want it, they can have it.
And I don't believe that she's going to do that. I think that she will spend the money foolishly.
Nothing that I ever do she'll ever believe, so if I was to give you the money right now, there you go. There's the money. I'm trying to give you back the money. I'm trying to do the things that I need to do to make this relationship work.
I'd really appreciate it if you would follow through with what you say.
I am.
Okay, I accept that, and I'm sorry.
I promise to tell you the truth, and I will try my hardest to make you proud. I don't know if I will, but I'll try. You know, my mom's wiping my slate completely clean this time, and I don't want to mess it up.